That's true. Your persistence doesn't necessarily have to be with the VA hospital. You still getting treatment outside of VA. That's persistence because you're still trying to take care of yourself. So you bring all the records into play, like we talked about. But I want to say this. If you still going to the doctor and you're paying for it, whatever it is, Medicaid or whatever, you can still go to the VA just as well. And that way you got definite documentation through the VA. Okay, those are two things I want to say. The third thing is it doesn't always have to be physical. My situation is mental. It's emotional. It's not just physical. Because a lot of us, we've had some physical things happen to us to give us some emotional damage. We're emotionally damaged. And a lot of things that we've done with our lives is because we didn't understand how to wrap our heads around something. And so we went a certain kind of way. And that's whether you got angry, became abusive as a fussing father or a cussing husband or whatever case may be. There's some things that happen to you because of a drill sergeant being all up in your face. And you being young and figuring, hey, look, I'm trying to make it through, and it's caused some kind of problem. So don't just think that everything is physical. So a lot of this stuff is emotional and mental as well. That's all I want to say.
Great point. I think we ought to give with Brother Bernard. He's our secretary, but also let him be able to tell, his story.
Just like Brother Prue was saying about, you having emotional injuries, that actually started out with the basic training or like a lot of us, we're war veterans. And, one of the things I want to say about that is when you go to the VA, and you get in there and you're talking to the doctors or whatever, and one of the things, as men, we try to be, macho, and one of the things we're taught in the military is suck it up and drive on. But, when you're doing that interview and you're talking to them, don't hold back anything, because that right there would be the wrong thing to do. Whether it's, you get sad about just talking about something that you remember, you begin to cry, whatever, just let it go. Because that right there is a part of your healing, but at the same time, it also helps, with you proving your emotional damage, whether it's PTSD or whatever else. But that's what I wanted to say about that.
Thank you, Brother Bernard. We got a few other brothers we're gonna talk to. We're gonna talk to Brother Clarity last because that would be a great segue into what we're gonna do. But I wanted Brother Booth, Gary, to really, talk about his situation. Gary and I talked years ago, and I remember he was telling me that he was, getting some disability and stuff, but I guess they didn't relate it to, service connected, but he was still getting paid. And I'm gonna let him tell you the story because I don't want to, mess it up. But he was kind of telling me that about disability that I didn't even know it happened that way, or you can get some money or be compensated. But no further ado, I'm gonna let Gary, kind of tell you his story.
Yes. So I get what they call VA pension. If you're mobilized, deployed in any combat situation, even just one day of deployment, you're eligible for VA pension. I think it's actually 30 days. I'm not exactly sure. But if you serve, I get non-service connected pension. I'm trying to get it service connected. They won't service connected. I've got all the documentation. I've went to the boards. I've went as far as I can to get that, and they still won't make it service connected. They told me I don't have any more options. I don't believe that to be true. But my situation, the mental damage, y'all have read my story that just recently came out in the paper. A lot of it stems from that. And to try to get those connected is a hard thing to do. And I'm still trying to fight to do that. And I'm having it now with the psychiatrist that I use to try to get that pension, go from pension to disability. So I can get the service connected and get more benefits. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate it. And we're gonna talk to Brother Reginald Suggs, who's actually going through the process now. He can tell you actually where he at, what he's doing, and you know what he's trying to get done for us, getting this VA up to 100%. I believe he's at 40, but once again, I'll let you tell his story. He'll tell his own story instead of me telling it for him.
Yes, initially, when I went to get my records, they told me that my records were lost. But I had a lot of records from my civilian doctors. Like, I got a myriad of problems that I think were related to my time in the military. But I had been going to the civilian doctors for some of the stuff that is classified under some of the disabilities, or since I got out of the military. So I used a lot of that documentation, and now I'm trying to try to find my original records with that stuff in there, with the help of El Presidente here, and to get my original records so they can fast track my stuff to where it needs to be.
Thank you. Brother Clark. Brother Willie Green. I know you 100%, brother. Kind of tell us how things went for you, or you know, some of the things that we may need to know, you know, to help another brother get that disability.
Okay, get your VA disability. Some people say, I don't feel bad. I'm feeling okay. But my first thing to let everybody know, you're not the same man you was when you came in. When you was 18, came in 86, 87, or whenever you came in, you was probably doing 60, 70 push-ups or what have you, this and that. I bet you we can't do that now. You can't, so that lets you know you are not the same man.
You're right.
So you're not the same man, and it had an effect on you. It's funny, but it's true. And like I said, those ailments, one ailment is like a domino effect. One ailment is connected to another. And it's ironic that we was taught that nursery school rhyme, this bone is connected to the so-and-so bone and what happens, and so on. But that's actually how it goes. Mm-hmm. And each thing is service connected from another.
That's right.
I came out as 100%. Of course, I had broke my neck, and they treated me for whiplash.
Damn.
So I was going paralyzed. Mm-hmm. And you know, by the grace of God, and you know, my wife working where she was, she got me a specialist at Pinehurst, and we did an MRI, and they showed me right there. They said, "You see that crack? That's right there. That's where your neck broke. It's been broke since 1999, and I didn't have surgery to 2006 after I had been deployed twice."
An immense thing.
See? What?
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the nerves and all that stuff, the tingling, all that stuff is right there. The nerves, the tingling, went through where I've lost money, didn't know it fell out my hand because you couldn't feel it.
Damn.
All type of things. And so those little bitty small things that you think and take for granted, you was like, man, how the heck I lose that money? You know, you're like, oh, I must have misplaced it. No, slipped out my hand. You know, with me being married, you know, 30 something years, you know, hey, I'm on allowance.
That's right, brother.
But yes, you know, those little bitty things, they add up. And don't take it for granted. And don't stop. And like I said, we're not the same men that we came in as, you know what I'm saying, physically, you know, but mentally, you know, we better and strong. You know, don't never take that for granted. Well, all of us coming together as one, you know, that makes us strong, so strong, you know.
Right.
You know, I don't know, you know, I may be going off course, but you know, it's just a blessing that all of us come together, you know. And I put it in the simplest terms, you know. If you know, use your hand and you slap somebody, you know, it'll take an effect. But when you ball it up and you bring it together, you can knock something out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that's how we come together as a,
Mhm.
you know, that brotherhood, and we all help each other out. So don't take it for granted. And like I said, we're not the same men we were physically when we went to Bravo first 17, first Sergeant Jackson. On that Tuesday, everybody know he couldn't say T. That's all I got to say. You know, I thank y'all. You know, I love you, brothers. You know,
Love you too, bro.
So you know, that's a brotherhood that can't be broken. You know, and like we say as NCOs, you know, back in the day, we only as strong as our weakest link.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we, you know, we hold each other together, and you know, we continue to go. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
There's a chain here.
We got brother Chris here, Chris O'Neal. You know, he'll just tell you, you know, his story as well.
Hold on.
What it took for him to get his disability and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, to start, you know, first of all, to carry on off what Mr. Green said here about the injuries from the one bone to the other. Those are called residual injuries. Because, prime example, when you are injured on your left leg, your right leg has to compensate. And not only do your leg have to compensate for the weight that your leg is carrying, your back also has to compensate. So now your body is aligned, and all the weight to take the pain off of this leg is on this leg, and that causes injury to your other leg as well, and that's why it's called a residual injury. And I know that because that's exactly what happened to me, and it was explained to me by a doctor who actually took the time to explain it, as opposed to saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with your left leg, and your right leg wasn't injured during the service, so we can't use that. But the right leg was caused because the left leg was injured during the surgery. So no matter how minor you think something is, mention it anyway, because the professionals, they're listening for those things, and they may catch something that you consider to be minute or obsolete. See, as far as my struggle, it was definitely an uphill battle. I stayed at 90% for 7 years. Even after I had a metal plate put in my leg, and I still stayed at 90%. They said that once I had the surgery, my leg was better, or I almost miraculously healed after that. And it took me 7 years to prove them that they were wrong through multiple surgeries, multiple injuries, not being able to work, not being able to walk because of those things. It worked so well, they actually had to take it out. So case in point, you have to stay on it, you have to stay persistent, and only you know your body. If it's not working for you, make it known that it's not working for you, and make them fix it.
What's the difference between 90% and 100%?
Somebody tell them, please.
About $1,300.
$2,000.
Typically, $1,800.
Yeah, I see. Cause I'm like, I thought it was like that's a couple $100.
It's about $1,800 for it.
Because
Typically,
it's 21 to
you had 90%,
35.
you're making 19.
I seen somebody else think the same thing though.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah, it goes from $2,100 to $3,400.
Oh,
And he said something right.
It's not only the monetary, it's the other benefits that come with it. 10%.
Yes.
You get so much more benefits. You don't have to pay taxes on things.
Who in here at 100% right now?
I'm at 100%.
Yeah.
I don't pay taxes on my house. I don't pay taxes on two of my cars.
Right.
Yeah.
40%?
My kids go to college free.
Yeah.
No, that's now 100. So like you said, your kids go to college for free. You're 100%.
Yeah.
Your kids go to college.
What about your grandkids?
If you adopt them, yes.
Yeah, you adopt them.
Period.
Here's something else that we need to keep it. And I came on that because we had a discussion about this. There may be a limit on the number of years from the time you get 100% to that, to you can use that benefit to go to college. I think it's 10 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, it might not. I don't know if it's 10 years. Let me say this. I don't know if we still running. Okay, but Joe Biden is changing something to help us. Donald Trump changed it
Yeah.
We used to have 8 years
There you go.
for our children. They could go up to the age of 26. They did something that changed it back to 22 and knocked 4 years off of it.
It's straight
I think that Biden is trying to reverse it because his son was military or died or something to do with that. I'm not quite sure, so don't quote me on that. But
Right.
now you have to be careful if you do the adoption of your grandchildren. They'll get those benefits, but the money won't change. You only get maybe $100 on a check, as to where right now I'm close to 2,500.
Yes.
So if I adopt my granddaughter, I lose 2,400 and only get $100. So you have to be careful.
I see.
I mean, and you have to think financially, and you have to, use your heart and think out of what you're doing out of love and the right thing to do. Well, the right thing to do for me is to love my granddaughter and love her enough to stay financially. So I didn't adopt her. She's still my granddaughter. Okay, so, but we get ready to go into a whole different ball of wax when we start talking about what the ratings and different benefits and things are. The thing is for you to put in. The thing is for you to stay persistent. And the thing is for you to legitimately deal with your problems, whether it's with the VA, hospital, or your own personal doctor.
And
Because
document.
that helps you, and that's it, because that helps your documentation. That's what you need. Because they don't want to know nothing about, you ain't gonna get none of this unless they got this, they paperwork.
Yes.
So it's all about papers, either way you finish, either way you
And
finish.
like Chris and some of the others said too, secondary, overcompensate. I just had a doctor just told me the same thing, Chris. 2 days before I came, I had a knee replacement last year. And he said that I was overcompensating for that right, which was causing my back to hurt. And he said, every time you go, you kind of favor that right leg. And your left leg's over here, so it made my hip out of alignment. And he was small, but he looked at that and he said, you have to think about those things. Because you had that right knee surgery, it caused you to overcompensate with the left, it caused you to have pain in your back. But we got to look at those things. And I know I sent y'all some stuff about secondary, certain things secondary to PTSD, knee surgery, GERD, and all that stuff. But if you didn't get it, just let me know and I'll make sure you get it. Brother Vice President, let's tell us about your story and then we'll hit Brother Flash. All right, Vice President, so we'll tell the story. So we're going to roll on with Brother Clark.
Yeah, my story as far as the disability part is just to hype on what everybody's saying. You have to stay persistent. That is something I did not do. And I did not stay consistent as well. I started my claims way back in, I think it was 09 or 10. We were looking at it just earlier. And, with me being in and out of the country, I just kind of dropped it. So I'm glad I ran back into these brothers now, but they're on me hard now about getting things back, into the system so that I can see what I can qualify for. I just want to say, just maintain consistency and be persistent on what you're going to pursue. If you can't get a hold of these brothers here, maybe you're able to reach back out to some of your veteran brothers that you were in the service with that's, maybe better than they got their connection or got their disability stuff rolling, and you maybe be able to form some type of networking with them if you can't reach out to none of us. I just want to make sure that that's an option for you as well.
Number 32,
You cut
No, we still wrong.
Yeah, we can do it. You want to do it now? Take a break.
Take a break.